The first thing I saw that morning was red paint and a bumper sticker that said Queen of the Cul-de-sac. Two massive pickup trucks, one of them still dripping mud, were parked side by side inside my garagea, my locked garagea, like they owned the place. My stomach twisted with disbelief as I dropped my coffee mug and it shattered on the driveway. I'd been away for 2 weeks, helping my daughter move into her college dorm. When I left, everything was neat and tidy. My tools were hung on the wall, my classic 1968 Mustang covered and safe. But now, my Mustang had been pushed out of the way, dust all over its hood, and two brand new F-150s were sitting there like unwelcome guests. And I didn't have to guess who was behind it. Karen. She was the self-appointed queen of the neighborhood, a woman who believed her whole title gave her authority over everyone else's property. She'd already lectured me about my ugly gravel driveway, my too tall mailbox, and even the color of my trash bins. But this was different. She had invaded my home, crossed the line from nosy to criminal. When I marched over to her yard, she was already waiting, watering her roses like she'd been expecting me. "Oh, you're back early, Tim," she said sweetly, not even trying to hide the smirk. "Hope you don't mind. I needed the space for my son's trucks. They're visiting from college. The house says we can't park big vehicles on the street." I just stared at her, trying to process how someone could sound so cheerful after trespassing. "You broke into my garage, Karen." "Oh, don't be so dramatic." She waved me off. "The side door was unlocked. I figured you wouldn't mind. It's not like you use it much anyway." I clenched my fists, trying not to explode. The sheer entitlement dripping from her voice made my blood boil. But here's the thing Karen didn't know. My garage wasn't just mine anymore. A few months earlier, I'd leased half of it illegally to the county sheriff's department as a satellite storage unit. They kept traffic cones, barricades, and occasionally even unmarked patrol vehicles there when they needed local staging. It was a quiet arrangement that paid for my property taxes every year, and I didn't advertise it. So when Karen took it upon herself to use my space, she didn't just inconvenience me, she tampered with county property. I walked back home in silence, my jaw tight, and called Sheriff Daniels, the man who managed the lease. "Sheriff, we've got a situation," I said, explaining everything. He chuckled at first. "She parked trucks inside your garage? Without permission?" "Yup," I said grimly, "and I think that counts as unlawful entry." "Don't you worry," he replied. "We'll handle it properly." The next morning, at 7:30 sharp, a marked sheriff's cruiser pulled up in front of my house, followed by another unmarked vehicle. Karen was out in her bathrobe collecting mail when they arrived. The look on her face when two deputies walked up her driveway was something I'll never forget. Her confidence cracked like glass. "Ma'am," one deputy said calmly, "we have a report that 2 vehicles are being stored without authorization inside a county lease property." "Are those your trucks?" Karen blinked, confused. "What do you mean county leased?" "That's Tim's garage." The deputy nodded. "Yes, ma'am. Mr. Tim leases that property to the county sheriff's department. So by parking your vehicles there without permission, you've effectively parked them on county property." The color drained from her face. "You can't be serious." "Oh, we're very serious," the sheriff himself said as he stepped forward. "Tampering with county property is a misdemeanor offense. I suggest you move those trucks immediately before we have to impound them." Karen stammered, her usual fire gone. "Yeah, I didn't know." "Doesn't matter," the sheriff said firmly. "Next time, ask before assuming you own someone else's space." By the time the officers left, Karen's sons had already shown up, moving their trucks out in silence while she stood there red-faced, glaring daggers at me. I simply leaned against my fence and gave her a polite smile. When the last truck rumbled away, I walked over. "Karen," I said softly, "I don't mind being neighborly, but respect works both ways. You can't keep crossing lines and expecting people to clean up after you." She didn't say a word just after and marched back into her house, slamming the door. Over the next few weeks, things changed. She stopped giving orders at home meetings, and the constant stream of reminder letters stopped showing up in everyone's mailboxes. Word had spread fast. Everyone knew what happened. For the first time in years, people in the neighborhood began standing up to her, setting their own boundaries. politely but firmly. And me, I finally felt peace in my own home again. Every now and then, when I pull into my driveway and see that old Mustang gleaming under the garage lights, I remember that moment. It wasn't just about the trucks or the intrusion, it was about boundaries, about standing up for what's right without stooping to someone else's level. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't loud or messy, it's simply letting justice park itself right where it belongs. Moral of the story: never underestimate the quiet number. You never know who's leasing their garage to the sheriff.